Hello, welcome to Statecraft IAS and Social Perspective Sociology in Newspaper series. In this series, we shall discuss daily news articles in sociological perspective and revise relevant sociology related UPSC mains concepts with the help of newspaper on daily basis. In today's video, we have an article saying Farmers Outfit condemns changes to Land Act 2013. Now, what changes they have brought to this Land Act 2013 and how it affects, we shall see here. As a result of these amendments, now acquisition of land has been made easy as the willingness of minimum 70% of the farmers has been removed. Even the construction of houses on the farms can be demolished with an executive order at the time of land acquisition. See how draconian the amendments have been. That means 70% consent or willingness of the farmers is now removed. That means they can acquire the land without the will of the farmers, and they can even demolish the houses on the farmlands just with an executive order. And this law was termed as regressive in nature by the Haryana State Committee of All India Kisan Sabha. And why this is termed as regressive, we shall examine in social perspective with the help of our sociological knowledge. In Karl Marx mode of production, Karl Marx has discussed 6 modes of production, out of which 4 are about past and 2 are futuristic in nature. First one among them is primitive communism. In this kind of production, everybody is equal and there is no private property. Acquisition of resources, that means production of resources, production used to be collective in nature, and the distribution of resources or benefits out of those production is also be on egalitarian basis. That's why it is communistic in nature. Whereas eventually what happened in this production of food grains or production of resources or production of materials, what happened is sophisticated tools have emerged and machines have emerged, and knowledge about the production has increased, but these sophisticated tools and this knowledge was limited to few only, not everybody. That's why these few became more powerful than the all others. So in the next mode of production, that means ancient slave mode of production, what happened is these few became masters and all others became slaves, because they lacked the sophisticated tools, ownership of those sophisticated tools and that knowledge, and these they possessed. That's why Marx divided the society into 2 classes. One is have class and the other one is have not class. Now here this is have class, this is have not class. What is the difference between both of them? Have class have the ownership of means of production. See, these are the means of production there. That means tools, machines and knowledge. These are the means of production at that time. As these people possess them, they are called have class. That means masters, and as these slaves lack them, they are called have not class. Now what happened in the slave mode of production is that masters owned slaves and employed them on farms. Out of the slaves' labor, masters have earned, and masters have developed among their society and have benefited, but they are passing those benefits very few to the slaves. So slaves have eventually retaliated, and it resulted in feudal mode of production. What happened in this feudal mode of production is that these masters became feudal lords and slaves became serfs. Now as the slaves have revolted and fighted with the masters, and with the change in the conditions, new mode of production has risen. What happened is the slaves have got some freedom. Means earlier slaves were not even allowed to give birth to their offsprings without the permission of their masters. But now that means they didn't even have their own existence. But now serfs are free to give their birth to their offsprings, and serfs are free to work in the lands of the feudal lords, but the benefits or the production are shared between lords and serfs disproportionately. That means entire work was being done by the serfs, but more profit was being taken by lords, and the profit that particular share of the profit was passed to the serfs. Only that is deemed to be fit by the lords to the serfs. That means lords decide what amount of share is to be given to the serfs depending upon their needs, and only that much they would give. That means the sharing of profits is not according to the labor. So serfs have revolted, and this revolt has resulted in capitalist mode of production. Now what happened is, in capitalist mode of production, new tools have emerged, and capital became central to production rather than land here, and these lords have become capitalists, and these serfs have become proletariat class or working class. Now what these serfs have fought for, that means proportionate share of profits. Now that has happened here. The share of profits is proportionate to the work done by the proletariat class, but that proportion is too low, not enough. Capitalists have taken all the major share of the profits out of the work done by the proletariat class or working class. Now this has been the history of mode of production, as Karl Marx has said. Now why this particular amendment to the Land Act is termed as regressive? Because it is taking away the land of the farmers even without their consent and without their will. It is even demolishing the houses of farmers on the farmlands. That means we are not moving forward in this chain. We are not moving forward in this process. Ideally, what should have been happened according to Karl Marx? It should have resulted in socialist mode of production, and this proletariat class should have, that means this sharing of profits and ownership of means of production should be equitable to everyone. That means we should have moved to this disproportionate share of profits and labor to proportionate share of profits and labor, and that to meaningful proportion and rightful proportion according to the labor. But what actually is happening is, this land which is owned by the farmers is again being taken back by the government. Here government can be termed as have class, and the farmers are have not class, and this land, which is one of the important means of production, is being taken by have class from have not class. That means rather than have not class gaining more rights when society is moving forward, they are losing more rights to have class. Have class is becoming more powerful, like it happened earlier, in earlier like feudal mode of production, slave mode of production, etc. So that's why the particular All India Kisan Sabha has termed this amendment as regressive in nature, because rather than moving forward and giving more rights to the have not class and giving more freedom to the have not class, giving more benefits out of the production to the have not class, we are moving backward and taking away their rights, taking away their freedoms, and taking away their own land, their own property. And that's why it is regressive in nature in social perspective. So moving on to the next article. Here it is said, no, don't use my name to rake up controversy, says Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra. Now why anybody tries to use that particular personality's name? We have seen many instances wherein people are trying to use the names of famous celebrities or other personalities to get their views legitimized. Suppose I have a view and I want everyone to accept my view and receive it wholeheartedly without any prejudices or objections. So, but I know that if it is presented as my own view, nobody would accept, because I have no status in society, and it would not gain much legitimacy and much sanctity in the society. So what I would do is, I would vaguely say some statement, and in the end I would say that this particular statement or this particular view is not of my own, but it is said by some famous personalities like some X or some Y or some Z. Then everybody accepts this particular view and gives respect to that particular view and accepts that particular view as legitimate or sanctified. Why this happens? Because these kind of personalities who I am using have kind of authority called as charismatic authority. And this authority Max Weber has discussed in Power and Authority concept. He says power is nothing but ability to influence others even against their will, even against the will of the people. So based on this power is enjoyed by three kinds of authority. One is charismatic authority, and the other one is traditional authority, the third one is rational legal authority. Now what is charismatic authority? Is that authority which is gained by exceptional characteristics. So here in this case, Neeraj Chopra has proven his exceptional characteristics or talent, and he has become celebrity in India. So he is enjoying some charismatic authority over others, and he has that charismatic power. So to use that charismatic authority to legitimize the views, or to sanctify some views, or to second some of the views, some people are using his own personality in support of that views. So Neeraj Chopra has condemned this particular use of his name, and took out to Twitter or some social media to plead or to urge people not to use his name to rake up controversy. So that's all we have for today. If you like the content, please like, share and subscribe to Statecraft IS. If you have anything to say, please comment and let me know in the comment section. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.